So this is my first ever investment property and I made over £30,000 in this one deal. This property gives me £1,500 net profit a month. This is what proper property investors do. Now you may be thinking, why the hell would you do that? These properties made me £12,000 in 1 month. Hi, I'm Dave Goodfellow. I'm a property investor and entrepreneur. Today, I'm going to show you the last 10 years of my property journey. I'm going to start with the flip and the investment property that I started with right at the beginning. And then we're going to move on to my buy-to-let portfolio. I'm going to show you the wonderful world of serviced accommodation and how we operate here in Chester. I'm going to show you how to start, scale up and systemize your property portfolio. So before we start this video, please remember to hit like and it. So before we start this video, please remember, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Let's get off and let's go and check out some of my property portfolio. I went through college, went to university. I lasted about 6 months. I didn't like the fact that I wasn't able to make any money there. And I was always somebody who would work and earn money in the background. And I went to a home improvements company where I started my career. And I started off as used to book service engineers for them. So I was booking calendars and maximising their calendars and all that sort of stuff. And I did that over a period of years and learned every moving part of the business really. I worked there for a number of years, worked there for like 15 odd years. But then I left there for a couple of years, went and worked for a company which was a really interesting company, fitting really high-end security shutters to high net worth individuals. When we're talking like billionaires, not millionaires here in the centre of London. What I did learn from that was all these billionaires and millionaires were all in some way into property, and I was like, well, there must be something in this, right? You know, I'm working away a lot, exchanging my time for money. I thought there's got to be other ways of being able to do this. Doing a lot of travelling, a lot of hours in the car. Rather than listening to the radio and kind of wasting that time, I thought I'd use that time to learn some stuff. And I got into do audiobooks. The first book I did was Mr. Rob Moore's Money. It kind of opened my eyes to all sorts of different avenues. I first started out in property doing flips, and because of my kind of knowledge that I had from the home improvements company, it was kind of really easy for me to transfer the skills from being in home improvements and running conservatory teams and building teams and stuff like that to kind of buying a property and developing it and flipping it on. So here we are in Chester, and this was my first investment property. This is bought in 2011. I made a load of mistakes on this property, by the way. We had a budget for the house to buy it, which was 85,000. I sent my my other half, Lucy, to go and buy it, and she went to the auction. We ended up paying 105 for it, so we were 20 grand down already. It was a 7-bedroom HMO. HMO is a house of multiple occupancy. So you take a standard house, you split the rooms up into separate rooms, and then you put people in and they pay by the room. Now, if you look at this road, it's full of HMOs. It's HMO City. This is what people live here for. There's HMOs all the way down, all the way up. Okay, but me being me, back then I wasn't experienced, didn't know what I was talking about. We turned it into a house. I obviously had to go out and get a builder to come and do that. I went out and got a load of quotes, went for the cheapest one. Again, was a mistake. I can't remember the guy's name, but what I do remember calling him is Major Problems, because every single time I used to phone the guy, it would go something like this. So, how are you doing? How's it going? Oh, major problems here, Dave, major problems. Everything was a problem. I was like, you know, what else could go wrong with a property? So a 6-week build turned into a 6-month build. Always make sure that you go on a recommendation or you get somebody who knows what they're talking about. I didn't do my due diligence on this person. Now the great news is that we turned it into a house. Even with all these problems, we still made £30,000 on this property. What would I have done with this now? Knowing what I know and with the training and the experience that I've got now, I would not have turned this from a 7-bed HMO into a house. I'd have pulled all of my money out, and this property here would have been giving me an infinite return. But at the time, I was quite happy with my £30,000. So buy, refurbish, refinance. So you're purchasing the property for a certain price and then add value to it through refurbing, and then take your cash out at the end by remortgaging it. So I'm going to take you to my first buy-to-let property. We've got apartments in there, we've got 2 in there. We've got places over there. So this is full of all of our serviced accommodation units down here. For me, there was always something missing. I've always had a kind of entrepreneurial flair, whether it's been working for somebody else or working for myself. Stayed in the same job, if you like, for 15 years, or the same company. I always moved around, so every couple of years I'd do something slightly different. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers, right? And they always want that next thing. So they solve something, they do it, then what's the next thing that they get onto? So I hadn't got that fulfillment from working for somebody else. I have that fulfillment now. That hasn't stopped me from keeping on going. I keep on moving forward and always looking for different things, and I've still got that entrepreneurial flair inside me that always wants more. Okay, so here we are. Beautiful location, beautiful town. Unfortunately, we haven't got the beautiful weather with us. It started raining on us, but we're now at Wharf View. So Wharf View was my house. I used to live in it. It's this beautiful house behind us. It's a 3-bedroom townhouse right in the centre of Chester. It's the perfect storm for serviced accommodation in this area.
Pause. What is serviced accommodation?
So serviced accommodation is a property where you are selling the property by the night. Serviced accommodation unit will be slightly different to a buy-to-let. Furnish it, you have it ready for somebody to come in, and it's like a home from home. It has hotel-like amenities in that property. Because I turned it into serviced accommodation November 2018. Now this property cash flows £1,500 a month. Now I wasn't getting anywhere near that doing it as a buy-to-let. Lots of great benefits with this property. It's been a fantastic property for me. It's probably one of the best performers that I have. So this property I bought in 2013 for 225,000. It's now worth over 300. I remortgaged it and pulled about £70,000 out. This property is a fantastic property, right? So it just goes to show that you can use multiple strategies on one property. So I've lived here, I've done buy-to-lets, and I've done serviced accommodation. But the lovely thing about serviced accommodation, this property gives me £1,500 net profit a month. How many properties like that do you need to get out of your job and become financially free? So some people say you should put all your money into stocks and shares, crypto, whatever that might be. Now, if you want a safe bet, property is the one for you. Over a period of time, we've gone through lots and lots of cycle, but over a period of time, they continue to make money. With somebody with no money, how do they get into property? People think that you need, mega money to buy property and to get into property. And you do need money to buy property, obviously, but if you joint venture with somebody, or you get a partnership, or you can get somebody to invest in you, and you can give them a return on their money, then you don't actually need to use your own. And there's loads of different ways of being able to do it. You don't necessarily need to have a shed load of cash to get into property. Is make sure that you've got the know, the like and trust of the person that you're going to be dealing with. Make sure that they've got to know you and they like and trust you too. Don't just jump into a joint venture agreement with somebody without being educated on how that works, how that should be set up. Because if you do and you jump in too quick, you jump into bed with somebody on the first night, it's never normally a good sign, right? There may be somebody that's cash rich but time poor. You've got the education behind you and you know what you're doing and you've got the time, then you can leverage their cash and they can leverage your time, and there's a JV or a joint venture partnership there which could be lucrative for the future, right? Okay, so this is Hunter's Walk. These are serviced accommodation units that we've got in the centre of Chester. There's 3 2-bedroom apartments in here. Now you can see in here, this is the living area. You can see that we've got a lovely little kitchen here. Now, what are the benefits of staying in serviced accommodation over a hotel? In here, you've got all the facilities. So if you're staying in a hotel, you might pay £100 a night, but then you've got to go down and get a meal and pay for drinks. Here, you'll be paying maybe £80 to £100 a night, depending on the season. And you can do everything for yourself. So you can go fill up the fridge, use the cooking facilities. You can save a few quid that way. And that's why when we sell this at £100 a night, 2 bedrooms, and you get contractors sharing them, they're paying £50 a night each. So there's 2 apartments above. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you over to the other side of the courtyard, where we're in the process of working with a developer to develop some more apartments. Now you can see we're still in the process of getting this where it needs to be. So if you have a little spin round here, you've got TVs, kitchen area, and this is going to be kind of like a lounge area too. It's just making as much use of the space as we possibly can. And you can see these are all just being kitted out. If you were here, you'd smell the fresh carpet. Bedroom, you've got the little side units in the bedroom as well with the TVs. So we're on the top floor now, and you can see that because you've got the eaves coming into the building. This was an old office block here, by the way, so it's all been converted. So as an office to residential, I suppose, or office to serviced accommodation. Beautiful kitchens, induction hobs. So you can actually see the beds in this one. And this kind of opens out round here as well. So the one that we went to before was a rent-to-rent deal. So we gave a guaranteed rent to the client, then we take the uplift by selling it by the night. Now this particular deal, the owner of this property, the three stories, it was an office. Now he came to us, he saw us operating across the road, and he was friends with the landlord across the road, and they came to us and had a chat, and we talked them through how to operate it as serviced accommodation. So what we did with the place is we used our builders, we helped them with their architect to design the place, and we've gone through with them step by step how to build this into a successful serviced accommodation block, just as we've done over the road there. And why would some landlords want to do a rent to rent and get their guaranteed rent? Well, again, that depends on the person. When you're doing serviced accommodation management, you get fluctuating income, so it can go up and it can go down. Now for security, some landlords just want to have that guaranteed rent coming in. They may have other things going on that they need to cover. Now in peak season, this property cash flowed £12,000 for a month, £12,000 for 1 month. This other one, I'm expecting to get a little bit more for this one due to it's new and it's got a little bit more about it. The photographs are going to be a little bit better. In real terms, when you think, you know, £4,000 per property, well, in reality, that's 2 rooms for £100 a month would give you £3 a month. You put an extra £20 on that, it's going to jump that up to another 4,000, right? It just adds that little bit extra every time you bump your prices up slightly. And that's how you're able to make on that nightly rate the extra money on this property. So I did the masterclass, the progressive 4-day masterclass back in, I think it was May 2018, and they were just talking you through all the different strategies, how a buy-to-let works, how a HMO works, how serviced accommodation works, how flipping property works, just giving you the foundation really of most of the main property strategies. We're going to take you up to one of our newer apartments. So this is more of a high-end apartment that we've got in Chester. It's a great place, does really well for us, and it's another managed client that we have. So this is a guy that really enjoys the kind of project management side of setting properties up, but not so much the operation. So he sets them up, we go and operate them for him. So let's go in, let's go and have a look. And as you can see, it's been very well appointed, very well decored. Everything kind of ties in. You've got your lovely kitchen area here where you can do everything. You can imagine people in here kind of sitting, maybe having a couple of drinks, making some nice food for their family. And then if you're coming into the rooms themselves, nice mirrors, very nice little side lamps and lamps everywhere. This stuff doesn't have to be expensive. So your wallpaper is just little feature walls, little splashes of green everywhere. They just brighten up the place and make it look so great for serviced accommodation. It warms the place up too. In peak season, these rooms will be going for generally between £200 and £250 a night. This is on a managed service deal, this property. So the guy that's got this property, he loves to develop, he loves to project manage, and he loves to get the place sorted, and then all he wants to do is pass it on to let somebody else operate it for him, and then just take a cut of the money. And that's what we do with our operational services under serviced accommodation management. How would you get a deal like this onboarded? Getting rent-to-rents onboarded is about the process that you go through and the credibility building that you go through with a landlord or a letting agent. Very, very important that you get educated on this stuff so you know how to get these types of deals on board. Building credibility, building rapport with letting agents and landlords, them understanding how you operate and being able to show them how you operate is really key. This is what proper property investors do. Now you may be thinking, why the hell would you do that? And that's where the real money is. £3 a month, month in, month out. Every single month.
Multiple streams of property income event. This is the place where most of the biggest property players in the UK started. You could be the next one. You're going to learn all about buy, refurbish, rent, refinance, deal packaging, serviced accommodation, commercial conversions, rent to rent, HMOs, houses in multiple occupation, and no money down property investing. Whether you're starting out in property or whether you've already got a property business but you want to take it to the next level, Multiple Streams of Property Income event is the place to be.
So when most people think of serviced accommodation, they think of luxury, beautiful apartments. Well, I'm going to show you something slightly different today in this apartment that I've got, or a masonette that I've got in the centre of Chester. This is Carter Street, and this is what it looks like. Now you may be thinking, Dave, why the hell would you do that in serviced accommodation? Let's go inside and I'll show you why. So this was an old shabby masonette, 3-bedroom masonette, that turned into a 4-bed masonette, and I'm going to show you around. Definitely a different clientele for this property. So what we're looking for in here is contractor based, and people that are coming with large families that can't really afford to go to a hotel, so they'll come somewhere like this where they can split the cost down between up to 10 people. This place will actually hold. So this place now cash flows for me £3 a month, month in, month out. Every single month. Bought the place for, it was about 79,000, and then spent about 45,000 on the refurb on it, but took everything out and started again. So this property's certainly not much of a looker, but it's definitely a giver, and it cash flows for me really well on a monthly basis. We're in a different location now. We've gone from the little beautiful city, Roman city of Chester, and we're now in the seaside, North Wales town of Llandudno. What you see behind me is the monstrosity that we are going to be turning into our apart hotel. Now this is going to be turned into 11 apartments. Should we go and have a look? Front room. So this is going to be turned into like a little studio apartment, but everything is just being stripped out and started again. You can see this is kind of like an old Victorian house. It's still all very sturdy, very dry in here considering it's been empty for years. In here, all this is going to be an apartment. Behind you here, apartment here, 2-bedroom apartments on this floor, so one downstairs. Better make sure I'm getting all this right. Now onto the bottom floor now. So this here is going to become another apartment, so the entranceway will be here. This is going to be a 2-bedroom one, this one. So you enter it here, there'll be a lounge area here, bedroom at the back, and bedroom in here as well. This will be kind of the reception areas. It will be very hands-off. There won't be a receptionist. It will be all keyless entry and virtual sort of check-ins. You've got the stairs to go up into the new part, but you've also got another apartment here, which again, this will be knocked through. This is going to be a 1-bedroom apartment again. These are a bit lower ceilings down here, so you can feel it starts to close in a little bit. All this is getting knocked through, and this will turn into another 1-bedroom. Through here, this is all studded out, so all this stuff here is all coming out. It's going to open the room up, and again, you've got your little bit out the back, but this is part of this will be part of a 1-bedroom apartment that's from next door. This is what proper property investors do. Don't go out there and try and buy a new build and think that you're a property investor. What you want to be doing is buying properties like this, or on a smaller scale, adding value to them, refinancing them, and taking money out of them. So you can then go and reinvest your money in something else. Now that could be on a small buy-to-let, it could be on a serviced accommodation or a single dwelling. Once you start getting into this stuff, you're looking at multiple units under one roof, and that's where the real money is. So we've been out and I've shown you a number of my properties in my portfolio today, but there is so much more. Why have I got so many more properties? Well, we have been able to take on education, I've been JVing, and I've been doing this over a number of years. So how do you get into this and start your property career or your property portfolio right now? The best way to do that is get yourself educated. Once you start understanding and getting into the mix with the networking with people that do know the know, and it will make things so much easier for you in the property business. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. So I'm Dave Goodfellow. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.